Hello, and welcome to Reiki Level 3. I'm Sarah Murdick. I'm a Reiki master. I prefer to call myself a Reiki instructor and facilitator. And I am very grateful for the opportunity to teach you Level 3 and to provide an attunement for you, which I can provide either through distance, or if you're in Southern California, I can do the attunement for you in person. So you can let me know which way you want to do this. I am going to try to provide all the information you would normally get in a Reiki class. The thing is, in a Reiki class, people can ask questions, and there can be some discussion, and there is just a really wonderful energy that you feel in a Reiki class. And unfortunately, during these times, that can't always be provided. But I want you to know that I am always available to answer your questions. I am living on the West Coast in the United States, so if you send me a text or an email with a question at any time, as long as I'm around and I'm available, I will try to help with any issues or any questions that you might have. And this can be either before or after you get your attunement. So I'm your instructor, and I consider this to be a sort of a contract we have together. I'm here to support you at all times. Okay? What do you learn in Reiki 3, and why does anybody want to become Reiki Level 3? Well, I've come up with 2 answers to that question, and that doesn't mean that those are the only answers. There could be other reasons why people want to become a Reiki master, a Reiki instructor, Reiki Level 3. By the way, you don't have to ever teach Reiki. I suggest that you do attune someone, but you don't have to set up classes and make a business out of it. You can still get the 3rd attunement. I know a lot of people will say, oh, you don't need to get the 3rd attunement unless you intend to be a Reiki master and attune other people. Well, that's not necessarily true. It is the attunement at the 3rd level is going to expand your energy field again. And as I spoke about in my other classes, your energy field expands exponentially with each attunement. So the 3rd level is naturally going to open up your energy a lot more than the 2nd and the 1st did. But it's good to take this in steps. Hopefully now you have had a chance to practice the symbols for Level 2. You have done some distance healing. I will have sent you all of the symbols that I use, because if you're just now joining and you haven't done my 1st and 2nd Reiki classes online and received my materials, you may have originally been attuned by someone else with some different symbols, and that's okay. But I'm going to be giving you the symbols that I use, and it's not going to mess things up. It's just to make sure that the energy is all kind of on the same page. You may or may not have been working with Reiki guides. You may or may not have a practitioner's business where you have been giving Reiki treatments to people. You may have just been doing self-treatments. You may have just been doing treatments on other living things, other people, animals, even plants. So hopefully you've really had a chance at Level 2 to explore, take time, get accustomed to the Reiki energy, which is, to me, an energy of love and peace. And you are ready to move on to Level 3. So today I'm going to be showing you 2 more symbols that you'll be able to work with. And I'm also going to be showing you how to do an attunement on another person. And you can go ahead and practice these things using the new symbols, or actually you're going to have to wait to use the symbols. But after you receive your attunement, when you've decided that you want to go ahead and get the attunement, then you can go ahead and practice with the symbols and practice doing the attunements. Okay, that would be the best approach, I believe. Now, it's okay to go through these things in your mind and think about them, but I think that you're going to be able to feel that energy a lot better to do your attunements and work with your new symbols after your third level attunement. So I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so another reason that somebody might want to do Reiki at the level 3 is also that they may have a chronic condition that they feel they want to bring in as much energy as possible, or perhaps they have a loved one and they want to be able to send as much energy to that person. But really, level 2 is sufficient for that. So it's really up to you. You also may decide at some later date that you do want to teach classes and you do want to pass attunements to other people. I would encourage you, though, to don't just go around and ask people, hey, you want a Reiki attunement? And not give them any explanation about what Reiki is. You need to explain Reiki to them and go through the basics like I've done with you, because this person needs to know what it is they're doing. They may actually start having some sort of a detox and they're not going to know what is happening. So don't just go around doing attunements willy-nilly either. Okay. All right, so we're going to have our new symbols now. The first symbol that I want to show you is called Daikomyo, and you will be getting a copy of all these symbols. I will email them to you, and I will also have directions on how to draw them. There's a certain order. There'll be numbers and lines and arrows to show you how to draw the symbol. These symbols are also available on the internet. You're going to see different versions of the Daikomyo, just as you see different versions of the Honsha Seishonen, for the distance symbol. So this is the Reiki Master symbol. The Daikomyo is basically a meeting of the yin and the yang, its completeness, its wholeness, its a connection to the universe. That's putting it very simply. I'm sure you can get books, you can get online and read more about the Daikomyo, but that's it in a nutshell. Now, as a Reiki master, this is really from now on going to be the only symbol you will really need. And to be honest, this one is the one I turn to the most often. As you continue your Reiki journey, though, you're going to feel Reiki just starting up. And in fact, at level 2, you may have already noticed that you didn't have to use any symbols at all. Just like in Reiki 1, the Reiki will just start up. You've got your intention and you either send it, you treat, whatever it is that you want to send energy to, you'll be able to do it. Oftentimes, though, I will put in a Daikomyo there. I will envision it, get the image of it in my mind. Sometimes I'll draw it, and I will just state my petition mentally, sometimes out loud. All right, so that is the symbol that the master uses, Daikomyo. The next symbol is really mainly used for doing an attunement. It's called Raku. It can be drawn 2 different ways, from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. And it's like a lightning bolt shape. It's used at the very end of an attunement to pretty much seal the attunement, but it's also grounding the energy. Okay, otherwise somebody could feel pretty floaty. I mean, they're probably going to feel kind of ungrounded anyway, but the symbol of Raku is going to help to ground that energy. Okay. So those are your two new symbols. You will need them to be able to pass the attunements. Practice drawing those. Now the Daikomyo is a little bit difficult to learn, but it's not anything like the distance symbol. So it shouldn't take you too long to learn how to draw this one. Okay, let's see. Well, now it's time to get into how to pass an attunement. Now you're going to be getting more handouts at level 3 that I will email to you to talk about some of the things that I'm going to be talking about now. The first one is how to hold the Wei Yin position, which you will need to do during an attunement. And the other one is exactly what it is you're going to be doing. You're going to be using your hands, you're going to be using the symbols, drawing them, and just exactly how the person who's receiving the attunement is going to be sitting. So I'm going to talk about the Wei Yin position first of all, and then we'll have our demo on how to pass an attunement. Okay. The Wei Yin position is, I believe it comes from Qigong. I'll be honest with you, I am not a practitioner of Qigong. I know very little about it. It's probably one of those things I should investigate more. Maybe I know more about it than I realize I do too. That's the other thing. But when you are holding the Wei Yin position, and you have to do this as soon as you start the attunement, first of all, you will take a deep breath. And then, and I have to talk while I'm doing this to demonstrate, you're going to take your tongue and you're going to place it on the soft palate at the roof of your mouth. Now, if you feel just behind your teeth, you'll feel a kind of a ridge, and then it will kind of sink back down closer up towards your brain, and then you'll feel that it kind of, there's another bump there. You want to put your tongue on that part that is the soft palate, right behind the bump behind your teeth. Okay, I hope that explains it. Maybe you'll understand it better from the handout that I send you, but so your tongue will be placed there. Now, I guess this is different for women and men, and I can't demonstrate this to you, but in your perineum area, in the area around, for men, it's just the anal opening. For women, it could be, or it would be around the vagina. You're trying to close off that area. So for both sexes, for both men and women, you're going to do a drawing up and holding it up. So what you're doing is you're blocking off an energy outlet in your mouth there by placing your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and you're drawing up, and you have to hold that during the whole attunement. And if you're a woman and you've gone through childbirth, or even if your gynecologist has told you to practice Kegel exercises to strengthen the muscles down there, in acupuncture, and in any of the Chinese system, the energy system is a very important area. You know, people are squeamish about talking about it, but it's a very, very important area energy-wise. So you're closing off here, you're closing off down there. And what you're doing is you're allowing that energy. Remember, your breath is prana, that's life force. So you're inhaling You're holding the yin position, and you need to do that throughout the attunement. Now, you don't have to hold your breath the whole time because you're going to be blowing that energy that's been circulating inside of you in a kind of a figure eight form. You're going to be blowing that onto the person. You will be blowing twice during the attunement, I believe. Let's see. No, maybe 3 times. I think at the crown of your head, you'll be blowing a couple of times up there. Then you have to draw another breath, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then you have to walk around to the front of the person, holding your breath, holding the yin position, finishing up. Then you walk around again to the back of the person. You finish up your attunement, and then you can finally release the yin position and release your breath, okay? I know that seems a little bit complicated. It does say take some practice. In fact, practice, practice, practice. That's what's called for here. So I'm going to get set up with Reiki Bear here, and I will show you how to do an attunement. Okay, here we are. I have Reiki Bear here, all ready to be my assistant to show you how to do an attunement. But before you do an attunement, and actually before you even start a class, you want to prepare your area. You can just do it by using the Reiki symbols, and I think I covered this in the level 2 class, but I'll go over it again. You can seal off a room and add protection by using your Choku-rei in all the corners of the room, at all the doorways, all the windows, and you can also add Seiheki in there for some added protection on the emotional realm. Okay, you will probably also want to call in all the helpful energies of your guides, whoever it is you work with on that level. Call them in and ask for a positive vibration for their help, of course, because if you mess up during the attunement, they are there to correct things. So really no worries, right? You want to try to do the very best you can when you're doing an attunement, of course, but if you mess up, don't go, oh no, wait, I start over. I have to start over. You don't start over. You just keep going, okay? There's going to be a lot of pressure, especially during your first class that you're teaching. And you could get kind of ruffled, could get kind of flustered, but knowing that your guides are right there, they want this to happen, they want to help you, and they'll step right in if they need to. So just rest assured, you're fine. Another thing that you might want to do is use some other tools. Sometimes the actual physicals, using the 5 senses kind of thing helps people to feel like a space is clearer. I have a few things here. I love tuning forks. These are some Om tuning forks. And they give off a lovely clearing tone. All right, so you could, if you have those, there's also a bowl. You go around the room and do this, and you can do it after all your students arrive, before. It's up to you. Use your intuition on this one. Okay, there we go. You might want to smudge. Now, here I have some white sage. I grew this white sage on my own property, by the way. I didn't wild harvest it. That's not really a very good idea. We need our white sage here in California. So you might want to burn some of that, but my favorite is Palo Santo, and now I'm hearing that it's also kind of getting scarce, and we don't want to encourage people to deplete our Palo Santo supply. So there is Palo Santo oil. It's up to you. And as I said, really the Reiki symbols are all that's needed to clear your space. So those things are optional. Now, Reiki Bear here doesn't have very long arms, but I want you to envision that he is holding his hands like this in Gasho position. Okay? He's like that. Now he's gonna try to cooperate with me, but as you can see, his hands won't go up any further than that, and I've got them clipped together here. So maybe I should forget about the clip, I don't know. That's just to sort of demonstrate to you how your student, the person who's going to be receiving their Reiki attunement, is sitting. They're sitting like this with their hands in Gasho position. Now when I do a distant attunement, can't always synchronize all the movements and everything. So I'm envisioning it, and it just gets done. The attunement gets passed. But at one point, I'm going to be reaching forward and grasping the students' hands and bringing them up above their head, so their hands will be like this. Okay? So I love my Reiki Bear, but he isn't the ideal model. We'll go ahead and demonstrate anyway. Now I'm going to talk through the first demonstration, and then I'm going to go ahead and do one without talking, as I would do a real Reiki attunement. So you're going to see it twice. So the first one I'll be talking through, and I can't hold my breath while I'm doing that. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and use the Hui-Yin position and do an actual attunement for you after I demonstrate, explaining as I go. Now, you aren't going to be able to, I'm going to have my back turned to you if I try to walk around Reiki Bear here, so I'm going to turn him sideways. And that way, you should be able to see better what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm standing behind my student. I am going to state my intention out loud. You're going to want to use the student's full name as it would appear on the Reiki certificate that you will give them after the attunement. So I will start by saying, it is my intention to make a powerful Reiki level 1 healer or practitioner of Reiki Bear, because that's his full name, Reiki Bear, right? So that was my intention. I stated it out loud. So a lot of people will say a powerful Reiki 1 healer, a powerful Reiki 2 healer, powerful Reiki 2 practitioner. Probably healer is best for all 3 levels. That way you're covered, okay? So I have done that. Now I like to just take a moment to connect with my Reiki guides, close my eyes. Your student is sitting with their hands in Gasho position. And it's a good idea to have them have their eyes closed, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your hands and do a motion like this. So you're spreading your hands apart, and you are envisioning that you have opened up their aura, their energy field. The next thing you're going to do is before that, you've taken your Hui-Yin position, okay? So you connected, and then you come up and you take your deep breath. You got your Hui-Yin position. Then you're going to open up their aura. You're going to trace the Daikomyo. You're going to direct it down into their energy field like that. You're going to take their hands and bring them up like this and hold them with one hand and blow into the top of their head, towards the top of their head. But you don't release your tongue, you don't release the hui yin. So you're basically going and blowing out that way, okay? So, and releasing that energy that you've been circulating inside of your body. Then you will take another breath right away. You will trace the chokurei, the seiheki, and the honchosei shonin, and direct them down into the energy field, and you will blow once again. Then you'll put their hands back down, and they'll hold them in gassho position again. All right, now I'm going to go around. I like to go clockwise around the person. I am still holding my breath. I still am maintaining the hui yin position, okay? Now you're going to take their hands and open them like a book, as they say. So their hands are out flat because you're going to be putting some symbols into those hands. All right? So Reiki Bear has his hands like this now. I have my breath held, my hui yin position. I'm going to trace chokurei. Tap 3 times while I'm chanting it to myself inside of my head. Chokurei, chokurei, chokurei. Then I will trace seiheki in the air. Seiheki, seiheki, seiheki. Then I'm going to trace honchosei shonin, honchosei shonin. Say it 3 times, honchosei shonin, and tap 3 times. Okay? Then you're going to do daikomyo, daikomyo, daikomyo. Tap 3 times. You only have to trace it once. Chant it inside your head 3 times. Okay? Then you can put their hands back in gassho position. And then go around to the back. You have taken, tap 3 times, blow. Okay, so you're releasing that energy again. Sorry for that. Tap, after you finish all your tapping, then you blow it in. Then back around to the back. You've gotten another breath there in front. After you release it each time, take another breath. And then come back around to the back. You're going to close the energy field. You're going to take raku, ground that energy in back of them from the crown to the root chakra. You can release your breath. You can release the yin position. You can put your hands on their shoulders and say, may we both be blessed by this attunement. Okay, so now I'm going to do the attunement, holding my breath. You can see why you have to be able to draw those symbols pretty well. Because you're holding your breath the whole time. You might even want to practice holding that position, holding your breath, because you're going to need to do that. And there have been times when I really thought I was going to not be able to hold my breath long enough, but somehow I made it. So I'm going to demonstrate now with Reiki Bear. Maybe if I move him back a little bit more, you'll be able to see a little bit better. I'm trying not to knock my screen down. He's got his hands in gassho position again, like this. It is my intention to make a powerful level 1 Reiki healer of Reiki Bear. May we both be blessed by this attunement. Now, when I said to blow into when I was doing the tapping on the hands, it was hard to show on the bear, but you can hold their hands over to one side and blow. When you do the blowing, blow up through the chakras. It will get there, but that's kind of a nice way to do it too. Do that motion of all the way up through the chakras. I find that I am able to actually do the attunement a lot better than I can do it when I'm walking through it and explaining it to people. So it's a little scattered, I'm sorry. You will get written instructions. They are very precise on how to do a Reiki attunement. Put a Reiki bear over there. And I think you will be able to get all the coaching you can. I have a little bit of advice on that, doing your first attunements, okay? First of all, I should mention that Diane Stein wrote an essential Reiki teaching manual for people who are going to teach Reiki, and it goes over everything you need. She even provides handouts, some of which I'm going to pass on to you because she has given permission for people to use her handouts. But this is Essential Reiki Diane Stein Teaching Manual. This is green. The cover is green. The regular Essential Reiki, which I have highly recommended in my other classes, it has a brown cover. This is the one with the green cover, okay? Highly recommend that you get this. It's going to help you a lot. And I recommend, if you have not purchased the regular basic Essential Reiki by Diane Stein, I recommend getting that too. It's everything you really need to know about Reiki. And then some, probably. But I recommend, once you get your attunement, that you just dive right in and start practicing giving attunements. If you think about it too much, you might get nervous. You might start feeling insecure. You might start actually letting your ego start to interfere, and you don't want to do that, right? Just go for it. Pretend you're an Aries if you're not. If you are, then you got it made. So just go and start practicing those attunements right off, and be brave. And remember that your guides will correct any mistakes that you make. I'm sure they've corrected me a million times. All of the attunements I have done have taken, all right? They worked. And I have no reason to believe that any of them didn't work, and I saw evidence that they did work. Nobody ever complained if they paid for an attunement. They never asked for their money back. Okay, so they work. It'll work. And the distance attunements also work. You, of course, can always contact me if you have any questions about that. But I suggest that you just go for it. Start doing attunements. So when I practiced doing attunements, when I first became a Reiki 3, I practiced with a teddy bear. I practiced with a chair in front of me, and I just mentally imagined or envisioned a person sitting there. And I did attunements on Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody got lots of attunements. So that, or Ms. Nobody, if you want to be equal there. So it took some confidence still when I taught my first class, but you just have to kind of forge ahead and know that it's not about you. You can't let ego get in the way when you're doing this. So ego is going to tell you, oh, you're not good enough, or you can't do this, or everybody else can do it, but you can't do it. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Don't believe that for a minute, because that's your ego. That's your protective side trying to protect you, but it doesn't always accomplish that, okay? It's not always to your benefit to listen to your ego. So go for it and do your attunements, practice your attunements, practice your Reiki, and know that it is working. Also, another way that the ego can interfere is when you don't want to make a Reiki master out of another person. Some for some reason that makes people feel threatened. It's like, I want to be the teacher. I want to be the guru. Well, guess what? You're not. You're a channel. You're not only a channel during the healing, you're a channel for the attunements. Okay, and that's why a lot of people don't like the word master and Reiki master. I prefer instructor. Master in Western society makes it sound like you're a superhero. Okay, so, or you're something that nobody else is, that you're different from the common person. And Reiki doesn't make you, it makes you different, but it doesn't mean that you're not a human being with human frailties anymore. Okay, so try to overcome that ego if that starts to get in there and interfere. Um, if you want to see people who are showing their ego, you can just go to some of the Reiki Facebook pages. I just don't even, I encourage my students to try and stay away from some of those groups on Facebook that are dedicated to Reiki. There's a lot of really good information that people are sharing, and there are questions that people can answer, but there's also a lot of people that are, I mean, I start getting into the arguments about, what works, what doesn't work, and it's kind of confusing, especially if somebody is new to Reiki. So use your discernment. Okay, discernment is going to be really important here. And just know you're just a channel, and Reiki needs to be in our world. It needs to be passed around all over the world, all over the planet. It needs to benefit not just humanity, but all living creatures, all creations on this planet. And it will just benefit people, all of the animals, the whole earth, the universe. And so, with that, I would like to say that I thank you for becoming a Reiki level 3, a Reiki healer. Reiki thanks you. Planet Earth thanks you. And the universe thanks you. Namaste.